Sir, there's been a murder. What? Wrong voiceover? Oh, welcome to the UKOCR's latest podcast, Who's Scot? And here's your host, Lynsay Mcewen. Are you sure there's no been a murder though?
I want to say a big massive thank you to Martin there for the intro, but he got it wrong. It's me, it's Alan. I'm here with today's Who's Scot special. Yes, as I said, after McTuff, I was going to try and get the race winners and potentially the race director on, have a little chat, how the race went, what happened, what was good, what could be better, and so that's exactly what I've done. So first of all, I spoke to Russell Walsh, the winner of the men's. Lynsay joins me for that one as well, Lynsay Mcewen. And then I speak to Gavin, and then finally I get Kate Stillwell. You need to listen right to the end of Kate because she makes a little boo-boo at the end. I'll leave you with that. Here we go. Russell Walsh, Lynsay Mcewen. Welcome to the UKOCR podcast from all the way up there in Scotland from Lynsay and up in Northumberland. It's Northumberland, is that right, Russell?
Yeah, northeast. Top corner.
Second time on today with Russell. I said I was going to get all the winners on from all the Scottish OCR series race, and you are here joining me because you have only gone on one Tartan Warrior, 2 from 2.
Yep.
man of little words. Russell, you were up against quality here. You're up against quality. There were talk, of who was going to win. Your name was mentioned on the Who's Scot podcast with Lynsay. I think Lynsay put you in the top 3.
Wasn't a favourite though.
You wasn't. I'm gonna say it. And you wasn't mine either. I'm gonna be honest here, Sarah. I had you down as second. I had Morgan first, you second, and then I had a whole list. In my head, I had Craig McQueen coming up there in third place. He would have been my money, only because I know I've raced against Craig. I know how fast he is and everything else. But was it? What have I got down here? 9 seconds. 9 seconds. You won Morgan by. Tell me about your race. How did your race go for you?
So it was quick off the mark. And it started off. It was pretty in wet field, so it was pretty hard running. So after I got in the lead, probably back after the first K maybe. And then it was kind of me and Morgan kind of just started peeling away a wee bit and pretty much led most of the race from there. Morgan did actually passes on I think it's the wreck bag carry or something like that. Passed us on that because that was a lengthy carry. But yeah, had to dig in after that and passed him again and then just led it from there. Had to work hard and I was actually leading a fair bit, but he started to reel us back in at the end. He was sprinting away up this last little climb that Gavin naughtily put in at the very end, but held him off. So it was actually a good race for me, actually. Just the kind of condition.
Was you feeling confident going into it, noticing that? I mean, we could really go through a who's who of people that turned up. Dave Peters from Rumble Racing, high quality racer. Ramona Swickis, who ended up finishing 5th. Mark Somerville, Malcolm Smith, Craig McQueen, as I mentioned. Stephen Fell, no one to be shouted at that, and actually he's improved on what I would have expected him in a longer race. Oliver Addy, there's some amazing names in there. One of the names I've seen on there is Thomas Jowett. Pretty far down for Thomas because Thomas is normally right up there in races. You took some big scalps. Were people who were watching you?
I don't know. But I knew obviously listening to Who's Scot. Or Who's Hot, sorry. And Morgan got mentioned with favourite with Daniel Tidcombe, who never made it. And I've raced against Daniel before, and I know I've no place behind Daniel. So I knew I was in for a battle with Morgan, but I never raced with him before. So the 3K was actually a really good eye opener on that one. So kind of got a feel for him on the Saturday, anyways. I knew it was going to be a good race, and it turned out to be a great race. It was a good one.
Lynsay, what's the talk in Scotland? 2 from 2. It's got to be the favourite for it.
I know you've got to be. Are you doing McTuff in the summer, Russell?
Yeah, I'm in that one. Yeah, that's me. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's. I mean, you've got to be a kind of favourite for that as well, given your performance at the other two. How did you find the difference in? Was there a difference in the ground from the Saturday to Sunday? Because obviously we had Alan, we had some torrential, and I'm talking biblical weather on the Saturday. It was bad enough it had rained the week up to Tartan Warrior, but it was pretty bad on the Saturday. Did that make a difference, do you think, Russell, to how you ran?
No, between the Saturday and the Sunday, it was very similar. It was all pretty waterlogged. I can remember warming up on the Saturday, running through the field, and if you stopped, you could actually hear the water running underneath your feet. That's how wet it was. So it was, there was no hurdling the 4 foot walls. Like, you didn't want to flatter yourself against a 4 foot wall. Like, it was good.
What about young Finlay Greenleaf coming in? Was it fourth or fifth? Fourth.
Fourth, he took, yeah, fourth.
I mean, an amazing run from him. Did you see it? Did you see any of him while he was out there, Russell? You seen when he came in? What did he look like when he finished?
No, he looked quite strong actually when he finished. He had a really good run. Didn't catch up with him too much afterwards, but I was with him all week because I think he ran the 3K as well and had a good run on that as well. So yeah, I think he had a good weekend all out. I think he did really well on the 100 meter as well.
Mm-hmm.
He flew through that. Like, I think he smoked me on that. He's a little whippet. Like, he's definitely one to watch coming up. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at your 3K times, yeah, and you were a minute behind Samuel Clark, who won it. Jack Carpenter second, Morgan third. You know, did you save a little bit in reserve for the 8K? Was you conscious of the 8K, or did you go all out for the 3 as well?
It was neck and neck with me and Sam actually right to the finish. Bit disappointed with the 3K. The 3K, the 5K, and the 8K, all the rules were the same. And one of the obstacles was called the Wheel of Fortune. And with me being a taller athlete, I tend to go high up on rigs and use the higher attachments. And the first 3 attachments were actually flat wheels. But lo and behold, we weren't meant to be using the wheels, and we had to use the rings and the chuck. And yeah, I didn't know they weren't taped off. And I grabbed a hold of the wheels, and yeah, I had to lose a band. And if you lost a band, it means you had to do a penalty. So I ended up doing the penalty loop with a tire carry, and that put me in fourth. Like, but yeah, it was neck and neck with me and Sam until then. Like, so I was pretty disappointed with that, to be fair. Like,
so was the penalty loop about exactly a minute? Because I know Gavin on said, and who's Scot, he was saying it was going to be about a minute in the penalty loop. Is that about spot on then? Because you were a minute and 5 behind Sam, so would that be about right?
Yeah. It was going to be a full-on sprint to the finish line. Like, it was.
It was so close.
Really
yeah,
it was,
so close.
Yeah, I was just disappointed how I got the band taken off as well. So a lack of briefing, or maybe it not being taped properly and things like that. It was a bit annoying, however.
Oh, gutted for you.
Yeah.
But all in all, a good weekend. It
was a brilliant weekend. The whole setup of the 3K, the 100 meters, and the 8K race, top weekend. Like, it's that's going to go places if you're doing it every year. Like, so really good. And I think everyone else that was there who raced there just say the same. Like, it was a really good weekend. The course flowed so well. So yeah, it was really good.
I'm just here. I was going to say, I'm just here for the praise, Alan. That's all I'm here for. It's the only reason I came on.
I was going to say it was great praise. It's great. This is great praise for you. But I'm going to ask him in a second about what his best and worst parts about, because that's why I ask every time we go out there. But from your point of view, Lynsay, seeing amazing runners from across the country coming up to Scotland for the series, you must be pleased.
Oh, we were absolutely bursting with pride yesterday when the race was all finished and the weekend was done. Just to see, we've been badgering Gav for so many years to put a race on because he's got such a phenomenal place. And we finally, Tartan Warrior was the right one to do, and he kind of took it on. And to see it all come to life yesterday and over Saturday and Sunday, and see all the fun runners go through after the competitive guys, and see everyone travel up from down south up to Scotland. Oh my goodness, we were just the buzz around the place in terms of all the people that had made it happen, and Gav's hard work and everything paying off was just, it was great to see. Really good.
Awesome. So, Russell, my questions are, I asked you these last time, highlight of the weekend for you.
Oh, I don't know. Obviously, winning the 8K is obviously top for everything. But apart from that, it was just a great weekend all out. Just the 100 meters is not my thing, but again, it was terrible weather. But everyone sat it out and roughed it out, and everyone had fun. Like, so, I'd probably say, yeah, take a part of the 100 meter. or 140 meters of whatever it was. Like, but, good fun.
What race director can mark a course? They can never mark courses right, even as low as 100 meters, can they?
I think it was about 130 in the end. 130 it was, yeah.
What did the 8K come out of on your Garmin? Or your Sunto, or whichever watch you use?
If I turned it off correctly, I think Gab says it was about 7.95. I think he measured it out as. But yeah.
So you need a 50 pence refund on entry fee then, don't you? I mean, that's like what can Gavin improve on? Because I know he's going to listen to this. So what can Gavin improve on from your opinion, or what wasn't quite right for you?
A little bit of marking. I did chat about that after the 3K. Just any corners I think you need to tape any corners. It's great saying, yeah, we need to get our heads up and concentrate on where we're going and things like that. But in the moment, you're just concentrating on your breathing, where you stand and 2 meters in front of you and things like that. So any corners need to be well marked, but the 8K was fine. But yeah, marking of obstacles on monthly rigs for that incident on the 3K. Yeah, that was a bit of a downer for me, but I think I was probably the only one that happened to. Like, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lynsay, do you want to ask Russell any questions?
What was your favourite and least favourite obstacle on course, Russell?
Oh, that's the least favourite, going under them four beams in that water. Jesus Christ. took your breath away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't too bad. My favourite is probably the rig. It was you split the whole rig down into two, but you could make a really good long rig out of that and make it really, really technical and really difficult if you wanted to.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, it was a good variety. A lot of overs, which suited me as well. Like, so, which was handy.
Nice and tall, makes it easy for you.
Yeah, definitely.
balance
beams in one race.
There was a lot of balance beams. Yeah, was it you, Russell, that on? I think it might have been 100 meter. You you literally had to jump off the ground and touch the tape on the rope. We were laughing about that. So they didn't go full way up the rope, Alan. They only went about 3/4 of the way, but because Russell's so tall, he literally had to just like jump off the ground and touch.
I was racing against Ramos on that one, and I think the only reason I beat him is because I could skip all that race just a little.
Love it.
Oh, Ramones is so quick at going up. Anything that's got upper body strength, if he was going up, he wouldn't even use his legs. He would just powered it up with his arms. Absolutely phenomenal. I did speak to him at Nuts, by the way, and he tells me every morning and every night. So every morning when he wakes up and every night before he goes to bed, he does 100 chin-ups every morning and every night. That's how he's so strong. What an amazing athlete.
I couldn't do that, that's for sure.
I don't do that. No, it's not on my to-do list. No.
I think I might do one. Just the morning. I'll be too tired for the evening one. Just the morning one. Russell, thank you for coming on. I'll just ask you one more thing. Did you take anyone with you, or did you go up on your own?
No, so my partner came up. Claire. Normally comes to most of them, to be fair.
What did she think of the layout? As in, she kept seeing you, because the layout was like and I spoke to Gavin about this, it was like a flower leaf and you kept coming back to the centre. Did she enjoy it more, or?
Yeah, it definitely helps when spectators can watch. And yeah, a lot of all the obstacles were all really close by in the centre area. So it was great for people just to mingle around and watch. Like, it was very good, yeah.
Fantastic.
My friend came up later on. He actually did his first OCR race. Duncan Laidlaw, he came up. But unfortunately, he fell off the cargo net at the end, and he was the broken elbow incident. Like, so.
Was it broken in the end? Was it?
It's a very small bone within your elbow, which is why he's broken there. Like, so.
Oh my goodness!
But he's home. He's fine. He's resting up. Like, so.
We did
the next one.
We did want to ask how he was, but we'll do it publicly. So yeah, that's it. Get Wilson. Yeah, that was it. Was a pretty. Well, I was like, we'll need to reach out to Russell and check if he's okay, but we'll just do it here instead. So yeah, get Wilson on that. That's it. It was a bit of a. It was a rough fall. Yeah, it was a bit of a sore one.
So that was a good start with OCR racing there. Like.
I think that was our only serious injury of the day, so you can take that medal home with you. Yeah, there you go.
It's only a little bone. It's not that bad.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Russell, thank you for joining me once again. You're going to have to need your own show after McTuff, I think. 3 out of 3 if we see you at McTuff, you'll be taking over my show. Lynsay, thank you for joining me, guys.
No, it was good. Thank
very
you.
much.
I have got with me Gavin Hogarth, Tartan Warrior. How are you, mate? How's things?
I'm still riding the crest of a wave, I think. The adrenaline's still going a wee bit. Buzzing from the weekend. It was exhausting, but so rewarding at the same time.
You should be riding that wave, mate. You know, we talk about wave riding. You get people like that go to like some of these waves over in Miami and Hawaii and places like that. There's that place that's over in Spain that has 100-meter high waves. That's the wave you are riding, mate. You are riding these waves. The biggest wave. I think call it Navarro. Someone's going to come and tell me what it is, but that's the wave you are riding at the minute. The feedback has been amazing.
That's a pretty high wave. The feedback has been phenomenal. Honestly, it's to the point of being overwhelming almost. Like both on the day, like people coming up to me, like competitive runners that I have raced against for years, and telling me things like this is the standard that other OCRs need to follow, and you've raised the bar in terms of organisation and how well run it was, and then obviously the fun runners as well. I mean, the fun runners are so important to any OCR, and the feedback from them has been amazing as well. And the messages afterwards, and the positivity from our volunteers, our team of volunteers. I mean, we had 70 volunteers on Sunday, probably about 50 on Saturday, and I invited their team. We had team leaders for each area, like registration, start line, finish line stuff. So I basically invited the team leaders into my home on the Sunday evening and treated them all to dinner. We got a takeaway, and I made a bit of a thank you speech to them. And I was exhausted as well, but I actually completely turned into a blubbering mess. Like I don't mind saying that. It was just a proper dump of adrenaline, and just gratitude to everybody who came along and everybody who helped out. I was honestly like a blubbering mess. I've not been like that since my wedding day.
I've got visions of what's that one with Mel Gibson on doing the speech afterwards, and I've got to see you doing that. That was in Ayrshire. I'm sure it wasn't near you round that area. Was it Robert the Bruce? Was it? No.
Oh, what are you talking about? Braveheart, William Wallace.
Braveheart, yeah, that's it. William Wallace, yeah.
No, I wasn't. I didn't. William Wallace was kind of hard as nails. He was tough. I just melted. But do you know what? I guess it showed how much it meant to me, but also the thing that makes me emotional, or did make me emotional, is like you could tell how much it meant to people who are members at Fit Body Farm and are associated with our facility, because they wanted it to succeed so badly. And one of the points that I made was to our team that out of our 50 volunteers on the Saturday and 70 on the Sunday, we had a 100% show up rate. Not one person dropped out. And I know that other OCRs will struggle because people don't show up in the day. And even High Rocks, I've heard they have to have about 200 volunteers with the expectation that 100 will only show up. I guess that's the strength of our community really shone through there. The fact that because that was the biggest concern, is what happens, because we needed so many volunteers because there was competitive races. So you need two per obstacle for all your banded obstacles and stuff, and it was crazy how many we needed. So the fear is obviously if people don't show up, then you're kind of screwed a little bit. And I basically said those words to them. I was like, please, if you can't make it, let me know at the earliest opportunity, because otherwise we'll be shafted. So like I really emphasised that, and what they really shone through the whole team. So that was amazing.
That's amazing. I mean, the amount of volunteers you got is brilliant, but to get 100%, like you say, that's even more phenomenal.
Yeah.
What was the four-banded system like?
you know, you just touched on it there. What was it like? Did it work for you? Was it 3 bands, wasn't it? Not 4 bands, the 3 bands.
Yeah. Three bands. So this is a system that I raced with myself at the European Championships last year, and I believe it will be the same band system at this year's European and World FISO World Championships as well. I mean, I think it works well. Some athletes don't like the fact you don't get to retry an obstacle. You have to just, you know, one try only for, well, most of the, obviously, like things like balance beams and whatnot, like climbing over walls, like, you know, if you take a stumble, then you can retry. But rig type obstacles, they were single try only, and it worked. It worked well. I mean, they did a penalty loop at the end of the race just before the finish line. So if they lost 1 band, they did 1 penalty loop. If they lost 2 bands, 2 penalty loops. If they lost all 3 bands, then they just went down as a no-banded finisher. So they just crossed the line. But we still had a decent percentage of completion, I would have said. You know, we got pretty much all of our podiums consisted of people that had finished with bands.
Yeah.
Probably the only difference to that was the 9 to 12-year-old competitive race. It was quite a tough course for these guys because the course was geared, you know, a little bit more towards adults, I would say. But fair play to Louise Ferriman's kids. Those 2 boys, they were the only 2 9 to 12-year-olds to finish with bands. So that was pretty awesome. Louise was pretty emotional in the finish line, and then she got a podium as well. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that. Was it Henry who won, I think? And I heard his dad was going crazy on the finish line because he'd won and he'd got his band still. He was like, that's pretty cool.
It was one of those epic moments and everybody's like screaming and shouting when they come off the last obstacle and they know they've done it. Yeah, it was really cool.
That's amazing. So we've what we're doing this 3 days after the event. I think, but yeah, Wednesday, finished on Sunday.
Yeah.
Still riding the wave. Have you
Yeah.
put a date down for the next one? Have you got? Because everyone's asking me. When is he doing the next one?
Yeah.
Are you going to do another one this year, or are we leaving it to next year? What's your plans?
We'll not be doing another one this year. Previous Tartan Warrior, before I owned it, they did an autumn event. So a couple of people said, "Oh, you're doing an autumn event," but the calendar's so congested in September and October time. And personally, that's when I'll be racing quite a lot as well. So no, we'll not be doing that. The next event we hope, you know, there's a few things we need to sort out, but it'll be the same time next year, basically.
Cool.
This is the only time of year we can actually do it, really. I mean, we could do one in October time, but during the summer and stuff, people are like, "Oh, can you not do it in the summer? The weather's a bit better." But all the fields are in use by cows and silage crops and stuff, so the farmers would kill me. This is like we've almost got a 2-week window to do this. So I think if we're going to keep it going year on year, it's always going to be at the end of March. But we just need to. I'm not going to pull the trigger on next year, probably even for a couple of months. I mean, I'm pretty sure like we've got the framework. We want to do it, and I'm sure we will do it. But in terms of selling tickets and things like that, it's probably a couple of months before I actually launch anything like that. We need to. Car parking space is our biggest issue, and we were right on the line in terms of having enough space. Ideally, we'd have fields, but the fields were so wet this year, we can't bank on that. So because I feel like if we were to do this next year, I feel like with word of mouth and whatnot that we could double it in terms of size, and participants, and we could handle that apart from the car parking. So that's probably the number one concern. So I need to have a chat with my dad and other people and just see what we can do. We might have to build a new car park, but you're talking that's a big investment. You're basically knocking your profits out for probably the next 2 years just to build a car park. So difficult decision as much as we want to. So anyway, we will find a way. So you know we have to do it again, don't we? We really do.
You've got to. It's a must.
Yeah.
Bittersweet moment in the men's race for you though, seeing Russell, I guess, take the win. in the men's race. So that means he's now got 2 from 2 in the series. And you're like, I mean, you're a race down because you couldn't race your own race in the series. Bit of sweet moment.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I think I said this before the race. I think I said this to you in the preview podcast. Like I was so consumed with organising the race, but that taking part, it really didn't bother me. Although in saying that, on the day, of course, you're watching it and you're like, oh man, it'd be so cool to be in amongst it. So I actually, I don't know if you've seen a video floating around social media of this, but on the Saturday afternoon during the 100 metres, it was absolutely chucking it down. Like the rain was coming down. If anything, it added to the atmosphere. So I was in my full waterproofs, big bulky jacket. I had my wellies on, and somebody pulled out of their second run in the 100 metres. So there was basically a spare spot. And it was little Cameron Montgomery, who trains with us at the farm. It was his run, but he didn't have anybody in the lane next to him. So I was like, I'll just jump in here. Why not? I wasn't wearing a timing chip or anything. I wasn't going to feature in results. So I did the 100 metres in my wellies and my full waterproofs. And I didn't feel an obstacle, actually. Cameron will hate me saying this, but I managed to beat him as well.
Oh,
so,
the master takes the Padawan.
So in terms of the 8K though, it was a great race, and Russell, fair play to him. He's a fast runner. I was really chuffed that he won it. And yeah, I'll just need to. We'll meet again in McTuff. It's Summer McTuff, so I'm going to have to really bring my A game to try and claw some points back, because he was really good over the McTuff course in January. So yeah, looking forward to it.
As a race director, though, 6 seconds between first and second in the men's, and a minute between first and second in the women's, you've got to be pleased with that, because that's the type of a race and a race director wants, doesn't it? They don't want someone to run away with it. They want that closeness, that race.
Yeah, the battle. And do you know what, Alan? You'll remember this well, and I think you liked this concept at Total Warrior last year, that they had a long sprint finish.
Yeah,
remember that? Came off the last obstacle, and they had probably a good 400 metres, and they had some good head-to-head battles. I basically wanted to recreate that. I didn't want a lot of OCRs. They do the last obstacle, and then they just cross the line, more or less. So I wanted a bit of a battle. So what I did was I put in a running loop of around about 400 metres to finish off the last obstacle. So we had Morgan Maxwell hunting Russell Walsh on that loop. And Morgan was reeling him in. The crowd was going wild. He just ran out of real estate. He didn't quite have enough distance, but managed to get it back to 8 seconds. That and Russell, do you know what? I think they hated me for it because they were exhausted at the end. But that's kind of what you want, because the problem is when you cross the line in OCR, sometimes you're not that exhausted in the moment because you've been too busy controlling your heart rate just to get through those final rigs, and you're actually not breathing that heavy. But I wanted the opportunity for these guys to show their running credentials and to empty the tank, so they crossed the line and they knew they'd given it everything, and that's exactly what we got. Awesome, mate.
Well, I'm going to say now, I'm going to put in my book, it's my birthday weekend, but next week it looks like my birthday weekend. If it's the same weekend, it's going to be up in Scotland, mate. I want to come up, I want to play on your course. It's like, I'm gutted I missed it, but I want to be back for next year for you. I want to come and support you.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, and like shout out to the. As a Scotsman, you don't often say shout out to the English, but fair play to you guys. Like we've moaned and groaned about how much travelling we have to do to go down to races, and you guys have paid that back to us by a lot of familiar faces making the trip north. So thank you to all you guys, and for all the feedback. It's been absolutely tremendous. We're absolutely chuffed to bits.
Cool, Gavin. And if I don't see you before, I'm sure we will see you on Who's Scot in about a month and a half time for McTuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Hey, Stillwell, my favourite grass grower, the in-joke that I always say to you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm obviously not as well as you. Gold again up at Tartan Warrior. 2 from 2.
Yes, feeling good, it seems.
Kate Stillwell seems to travel. You know, we all the way up there, right from down in London up to Scotland, twice this year now, taking gold medal. Let's talk about Tartan Warrior. 8K you went up for. Did you do the other two races first of all?
I didn't know. They just weren't taking my fancy, but I really enjoyed watching the others compete in the other races, the 3K and the 100 meters. It was great to support them on the Saturday.
So you went to the Saturday, you watched that. You saved your energy. This is the key, isn't it? You saved your energy.
Oh no, they got to have a good practice on the obstacles. I missed a trick there.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, because I know that the rig, was it Wheels of Fortune rig, was quite difficult. Did you find it difficult?
I didn't find it difficult. I was clumsy over it for sure, but I thought it was a very fair rig if you had a bit of confidence.
Yeah, because it was quite low down, from what I saw, quite low to the ground, little bit of technique involved.
Oh, is this the low rig? Wheels of Fortune was quite high. Low rig, yeah, I completely messed that up. It turns out my bum is lower to the floor than I thought it was, so I enjoyed a nice penalty loop thanks to that.
Oh, so you didn't keep all three of your bands then?
I didn't. Yeah, as I say, my bottom was bigger than I thought, and I ended up scuffing the floor with it. So I took a lovely little run with a tyre.
Oh, so Karen was second. Now I know from the last obstacle to the finish line, it was about 300 to 400 meters run. Did Karen keep all her bands?
Yeah, she did. Yep.
So obviously you got this penalty loop. You must have seen her a little bit, looming down on the finish line. Was it?
I did not look
back. You did not look back. It was a little bit closer though than McTuff. 1 minute between you both.
Yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic race. I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic going to their home grounds, Lauren and Karen's. And when I spoke with Karen after McTuff, she kindly took me around the grounds and everything. And we had a nice little training session after I scuffed my knee around. They were both kind enough to take me under their wing. And yeah, she said about, how her training there and everything. And I thought she's going to be difficult to beat there. She got the good home advantage. And after seeing them both on Saturday race, they were looking so strong, just confident. And it was brilliant to see. And yeah, the perfect race in my eyes. Made me really think about my tactics.
Yeah, I guess going into their own backyard or back garden, however you want to say it, it's probably a little bit daunting, I guess, for some people. Did you feel the pressure?
I didn't feel the pressure. I just thought I've got to play to my strengths, which in this case is running and being like a cart horse through mud, and just bringing the fight to them really. And they brought the fight to me. I know that much.
Had you done any training prior to this? Had you been into Wild Forest or down to PT Barn or anywhere like that and done any low rig training, or was you just confident in your own ability?
I'm always doing run training and cycling and things like that, but I've recognised that one of my real weaknesses is I get to an obstacle and have a nice little dither in front of it and gather myself and really fanny around. So I've decided that what I really need to do is just get a move on. So I've been working on doing cardio and then getting straight into strength exercises while I'm still recovering, and that seems to have paid off a little bit at least. I need to keep working on that.
Wow. Yeah. So I know maybe a lot of our listeners do as well, because they've heard you several times, but you are heavily into your cycling as well as your running and that. So is it literally you've done a heavy session, come straight in and then work out on the strength side of things?
I'd be on the treadmill, like a curved mill, and get off and do sort of like the battle ropes or do the monkey bars or do pull-ups instead. And instead of, I'd usually sort of stand at the bottom for 5 seconds and gather myself before doing them. But now I'll just get off the treadmill and go straight up onto like pull-ups or something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not exactly smashing out pull-ups and exercises, but just getting into the idea of you've got to keep moving.
Yeah. How did Tartan Warrior differ to McTuff in your eyes?
It was shorter, so I couldn't build up as much of a distance as I did in McTuff, just because, by the nature of it being a shorter event, and the ground was very, I call it a cow field, just because it might not have been a cow field, but that's how I describe it to myself, because there's no root structure really. So the grass slides a lot underneath your foot. So it's quite heavy going. It doesn't look heavy going, but it is. And so you just got to think about how to run in that and how to be effective through it. And the other girls knew that too. The second and third girls did. They obviously knew to run on it and how to run on it. So it was nice to have that nice sprint out to begin with, over the fences, another, nice decent sized run. And everything was just well thought out, well spaced out. The carries were nice long carries, and then the obstacles, you just sort of hit into them. But it was brutal having the up and downs as well. There was no respite from it all. It was brilliant.
Yeah. A lot of people are telling me that it's probably one of the best races, and I want to say races that they've been to. They could tell it was done and designed by someone who is an elite racer, as in Gavin. He is an elite racer. He's one of the the top in the country. So did you feel like that?
Absolutely did. You could see it on Saturday, and I wasn't disappointed on Sunday. Everything was well thought out, and there was just a lot of different parts brought into play. Like with the longer carries, you could just tell that if someone who'd been in a race and just thought that this didn't work, but this did work, had brought their opinion to it, and it really flowed. It just flowed well, and as you say, it just worked all parts of your body. Yeah, I would highly recommend going back.
So 2 from 2 in the series as well. 2 wins. You and Russell are right at the top. You're winning the women's, he's winning the men's. It's the best of 3. There's 2 races left. In theory, the worst someone can do is draw with you. Are we going to McTuff later on this year?
I'm hoping to go to McTuff, and I'm hoping to go to Beach Ballistics. But we'll see with work how that goes.
Cool. So as long as we win one of those, the OCR series up in Scotland will be yours.
Let's not run before we can walk.
Did you listen to? Yeah. Did you happen to listen to the Who's Scot beforehand? Because your name was at the top of the list. Apart from Gavin's, Gavin had you and Karen the other way round based on home turf.
Oh, that was a big tip off. The second you said Karen, I was like, oh, she's feeling well.
Oh, yes. Where are we going to see you this year? Are we going to see you at some Spartans? Are we going to see you running in the UKOCR series at any of those races this year, Kate?
Yeah, definitely. I've entered 2 of them already. So as long as I can get there, yes.
Which ones have you entered? Tell me.
I've got Spartan, the first one of the series. So is that Henley?
Yes, on the 30th of April. Yeah.
Yes. I've already entered that one, and Challenge Cup so far.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. And then you've also got your spot at the British Championships as well.
Yes, I have indeed. And obviously I'll be heading up to Beach Ballistics. So that'll be
4.
A few entered.
Yeah, so you've got 4 on this, which is the best of 4. So yeah, we're going to have a proper challenge this year, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And that
if I manage to actually get to them, if work allows.
What's your boss's number now? I'll ring them and tell them. Kate, thank you for coming. Thank you for speaking to us. I hope we speak to you again. I'm pretty certain we're gonna. If not, at least once we're out of the last 2, maybe both out of the last 2, and then when you also win. But thank you and well done. Congratulations. I mean, the best of the best went, is what I'm going to say. But before I let you go, what's your thoughts on Lauren at such a young age and competing 3rd place so fast? How fast was she?
I have been raving about Lauren since I got home. She is an amazing competitor, and the mentality of someone far beyond her years. I hope to see her many more times in OCR if she sticks with it, and if not, hope to see her doing any other sport that she contests in. She's amazing, an incredible athlete.
Fantastic. Thank you, Katie, and pleasure speaking to you as always.
Thanks.
She's forgot my name, everybody.
No.
So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that bonus episode. And as I promised at the end there, Katie forgot my name. Can you believe it? But I did make a blooper right at the blooper. I did make a blooper right at the start, which you're going to hear it in a second. But in the meantime, guys, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Please follow us. Please like us. Do all of those things. Make the algorithms work for us. Leave us a review. Always good if you leave us a review. And if you want to splash out and support us, all links are in the description. Or you can find them on IG or anywhere else. We share them quite often. In the meantime, thanks for listening. Take care. Love you all. Bye.
Hey, Stillwell, and I'm going to say the joke that I always say when I tell you this. Say to everyone, I'll restart that again. 1 minute. Let me restart.